15 years, I traveled to the edges of the earth with a camera to try and capture the beauty of the wild and the biodiversity that we're losing. I swam with orcas under the Arctic ice. I floated above fin whales the size of buses trying to get the best shot. I've trained with anti-poaching rangers in Zimbabwe. I've tracked cheetahs and camped in the frozen Antarctic tundra with the leopard seals and photographed the last indigenous tribes still living close to nature. I've even hauled teams up Kilimanjaro 5,895 meters above sea level to raise funds for conservation. The roof of Africa around us, it was an incredible experience to be here again. It was all exhilarating, purposeful, even romantic you could say. And yet, here we are. The earth is on fire, and we're still arguing over plastic straws. I thought if we could just show people how breathtaking this planet is, they'd wake up, they'd care. And in some ways, they did. But the truth, I burnt out well before the planet did. Somewhere between filming another melting glacier and putting on another climate summit with bottled water and branded tote bags, it hit me. Maybe I was going about this all the wrong way. I convinced myself that I was saving the world, but really I was just running on fumes, on deadlines, on purpose-fueled adrenaline, trying to fix the outer world while quietly unraveling inside. It turns out, outrage and doom scrolling aren't long-term wellness strategies. And when I wasn't in the wild, I was in a different type of jungle. Red carpets, premieres, fashion weeks. I worked with the world's biggest brands from Vogue to LVMH to National Geographic to Cartier, telling glossy stories for companies that shape what we crave, what we buy, and what we think we need to be happy. I told myself I could live in both worlds, that I was different, that my heart was in the right place. But the deeper I got into that life, the more I realized I was still feeding the same machine. The one that glorifies more and more, distracts us from stillness, and sells us things to fill that aching void. And honestly, I wasn't immune. I played the game, status, success, self-importance, with a side of sustainability. The shift came not in a thunderclap, but in a whisper. I was alone in an ancient temple in a rainforest thousands of miles from any city. It was quiet. Very quiet. And in that silence, something finally surfaced. A knowing that no matter how many whales I photographed or trees I tried to save, nothing would change until we started to look inward. Because the real crisis, it wasn't just out there, it's inside of us. The overconsumption, the disconnection, the loneliness, that's not nature's fault. Nature isn't broken. We are. And until we face that, honestly, humbly, then there's no amount of carbon offsetting that'll save us. So nature, it turns out, is a mirror. Poison her and we poison ourselves. Nurture her and maybe, just maybe, we remember more of who we are. And this isn't just poetic idealism, it's basic reciprocity. As above, so below. As within, so without. I'm Lee-Davies. I'm no guru. I'm not here to sell you 5 hacks for instant enlightenment. I'm a social entrepreneur, host, and filmmaker. A guy who's lived with one foot in the wild and the other foot in the boardrooms and bright lights. I've photographed and interviewed people like Deepak Chopra, Keanu Reeves, Dr. Jane Goodall, Chris Pratt, and even Stephen Bartlett. I've spoken on stages around the world, and I've sat alone under the wild starlight without any 5G or Wi-Fi, wondering what any of it actually means. And here's what I've learned. No title, no brand deal, no spiritual quote on Instagram will fix the world till we start looking inwards and healing ourselves. The Conscious Rising isn't just a podcast, it's a conversation, a compass, maybe even a gentle kick in the soul. It's for the quietly curious and the wildly awake. For the conscious leaders and creators who feel that something is shifting. For anyone tired of numbing out, scrolling past, or pretending that everything's fine, we're not here to escape the world. We're here to build a better one from the inside out. You'll hear from scientists decoding consciousness, entrepreneurs who don't think impact is just a buzzword, indigenous wisdom keepers reminding us what we forgot to remember. I can't promise you all the answers, and honestly, you should be suspicious of anyone who does. But I can promise you real questions, the kind that unsettle, the kind that expand. I can promise conversations that go beneath the surface into the messy, magical middle of being human in a time of collapse, transformation, and global awakening. And when you're ready to stop numbing, doom scrolling, or outsourcing your intuition, we'll be here. We're living in a time unlike any other. The age of Aquarius is dawning, a shift from hierarchy to harmony, from control to consciousness. AI is evolving faster than our ethics, biotech and quantum computing are rewriting what it means to be alive. We are probably the last generation to be purely human, and the first to decide what comes next. At the same time, quantum physics is beginning to confirm what ancient mystics already knew, that everything is energy, that we are deeply, inextricably connected. Meanwhile, the climate crisis is no longer a distant threat. It's here and it's personal. We're being forced to confront the illusion of separation from nature, separation from each other, and from ourselves. This convergence of accelerating tech, awakening consciousness, and ecological collapse isn't random, it's a reckoning. That's why we created The Conscious Rising, to help make sense of this threshold moment, not with fear, but with curiosity, with clarity, and with courage. This isn't just about saving the whales, it's about remembering that we are the ocean too. This is about what happens when we stop pretending that we're separate from nature, from each other, and from ourselves. It's about the rising inside of you, inside of me, inside all of us. So if you're still listening, welcome. My name is Lee-Davies, and this is The Conscious Rising.